Good morning, Flosstube, or afternoon, evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome to my channel. I am Heather, the 20-minute stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and I'm so happy you've chosen to spend some of your time here with me today. Y'all, I am so close to 750 subscribers, which I know to some of you are like, oh, that's so tiny, but for me, like, I did this for, you can go watch my first or second videos for sort of the reasons why I started doing this. I would have been thrilled with like 50 people watching me. So the fact that there are 700, almost 750, just boggles my mind. And I've made such friends through Flosstube. I've been stitching since I was a little girl, and other than my mom, like, and some of my mom's friends, like, I never knew anyone anywhere near my own age, much less younger than me, which I love seeing all these young stitchers. I love it out there in this world. So I'm so grateful for what the Flosstube community has brought to me. And I'm so excited to almost be at 750 subscribers. I'm at 743. So just a reminder that when I hit 750, I'm going to be giving away these floss winders that my dad made. They are 9-inch ones, so they'll give you an 18-inch length of floss. So just 7 away. So tell your friends. I'll give these away once I hit 750. So I hope all of you have been well. We are now into October. This is my Flosstube episode 28. It has been 2 weeks since I've seen you all, and I actually have done quite a lot of stitching. Perhaps the frustrating part for you guys watching me is most of that stitching has been on only one project, and then I've done tiny little bits on lots of others. So I have a lot to show, but the progress on those patterns is really not that much, on some of them at least, but happy to show with you. And I actually just realized that I forgot one. Please hold, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I actually discovered I had left 2 patterns upstairs. So this one might be a little bit longer than 20 to 25 minutes, y'all. Hopefully not too much longer. But yeah, so life update with me. Work's been crazy still. It's always busy, but that's okay. It's a good thing. I know my last video was right after I'd gotten back from our big retreat for work. And so the last 2 weeks have been filled with all the things that got put on hold while we were finalizing and running the retreat. It'll calm down eventually, right? Other than that, not that much going on. My daughter has a big fencing tournament coming up this weekend. Her birthday is this month. So all of my money is spoken for. She's turning 16 this month or so. This year. So we're doing not a huge bash because that's not her style, but she wants to do an escape room with some of her friends. And then she wants to have a bunch of her other friends over for a party. And but she doesn't want anything fancy at the party, right? It just lots of food because they're teenagers, right? So it'll be expensive. And then my son's birthday is next month. So I don't know how much stitchy stuff I will have the money to buy in the next couple of months, because between the holidays and my kids' birthdays, the end of the year is rough for me financially. But I wouldn't have it any other way because I love my babies. All right, enough of me chit-chatting. Let's go ahead and get into all of the stitching that I have to show you. So as I said, be prepared. It is a lot of projects, but some of them it's not a whole lot of work on any of those projects. First, though, I have a finish for the first time in a long while because I've been so busy starting projects. I swear, I think when I did my first Flosstube back in February, I think I did sort of a semi-whip parade, maybe on my second video, and I think I had maybe like 4 projects in the works. Yeah, I know I'm at least over a dozen now. Flosstube is wonderful, but it's also full of a bunch of enablers, and I clearly have very little self-discipline. Anyway, but I have a finish, finally, which makes me happy, both for me and for you guys, because you guys have seen me like stitching on all kinds of things, but I haven't had a finish in ages, I feel like. But on September 30th, I finally finished. Please hold again. Okay. On September 30th, I finally finished Peace, Love, and a Cure by Lizzie Kate. And obviously this one has some special meaning to me now. It didn't at the time I picked it up. I just picked it up just because I liked it and I liked the sentiment. But as a breast cancer survivor, obviously this has extra meaning now. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one. Probably a flat fold. But I stitched this on just some extra Aida I had laying around. 16 count, I think, maybe 18. With the DMC conversions for the pattern. And yeah, so happy to have a finish for the first time in a while. And felt kind of extra good to finish it right before October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So that is my finish. Then the last week of September, I finished that. I worked on Haunted Library, Hive Rules, and Spring Dragon. So the Spring Dragon, if you'll remember, was my birthday start. It is by Ingleside Imaginarium. Y'all, I remembered to unzip all of my bags today before I started filming. Yay! So anyway, so this is Ingleside Imaginarium, the Spring Dragon. This was in the, I forget the name of the box, but it was a box from Needle and Note. And I was born in the year of the dragon, and I love dragons. So this was my birthday start this year. And I had a teeny tiny sad little start. The last video I showed you, it's only slightly less sad now. But I have added to the pink going up his wing. It still doesn't look like anything but a pink splotch. But I've added some. So I only stitched on him once on September 30th for about probably less than an hour. So he gets brought out every once in a while when I just want something different to stitch on. So that was Spring Dragon. Then I also, in the last week of September, worked on Hive Rules, which is the model that I am stitching for Brandy over at Bestitch Me. And again, didn't add a whole lot more to this, only stitched on it once. I guess I can still, even though it's still in its hoop, which I should probably take it out of the hoop, let the fabric rest a little. But I think the last time I showed this, I had maybe the wings and the yellow part of the bee. So I finished up the bee and started, no, I think I had these wings down here. So there's another little bee here in the S. But I stitched, and I think maybe I finished, see, I should be like Lizzie from Frizzy Lizzie Stitches. Elizabeth is so good about putting up pictures. I'm not very good about taking pictures when I stop stitching for the day. But anywho's, here's where Hive Rules is right now. I know that I finished the bee. I think I might have finished the beehive too, because I think I was doing the same colors all together. So the first motif is almost done. I'm really liking stitching on this 40 count even weave. First off, stitching with one strand is really nice. It tangles a lot less frequently. It just looks so pretty. It's so dainty. And anyway, so that's Hive Rules. That is by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And like I said, I'm stitching this as a model stitch for Brandy at Bestitch Me for her new brick and mortar storefront. So my goal is to have this done by, like, she's so sweet. She's like, if you could just return it sometime within the next year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try and get it to you sooner than that. My goal is to have that done by January or February, hopefully, which means I need to get cranking on it. And then I continue a little bit to work on Haunted Library, which I've been obsessed with. I'm still obsessed with it, but you'll see later in the video what has taken over my stitching time and why it has. But here is where I am at with Haunted Library. It is really not much more progress than the last time I showed you. I just have filled in more of the staircase, and that's really it. I literally have only stitched on this one day in the last 2 weeks, which makes me really sad. But I have a good reason for it. But I'm really excited for when I get to come back to this, because the releases just continue. The horseless, headless horseman holding his head up to see the books on the top shelf. I mean, I laughed out loud. It's it's just this pattern. It's beautiful. I will put a picture up because it's not only is it beautiful, but it's just, there's so many little things just hidden throughout, or really not hidden, but like little details that if you're just kind of glossing over, casually looking at it, you might not catch, but I love it. Love it. Anyway, so I'm excited to get back to this one. Not sure when I'm going to, and you'll see why in a moment. So that got me through September. I really sort of spent time on that Peace, Love, and a Cure because I was so close to finishing it. And I was just like, you know what? I need to finish. So I spent a lot of time on that the last week in September. Then on October 1st, I started my first Autumn Garden Sampler pattern. If you'll recall, this was the Cross Stitch, the Rainbow Cottage Garden Threads, dyed a special palette of floss, 4 colors here that are just gorgeous. This is my first time using their floss, and I'm enjoying it so far. And then 25 different designers designed a 60 by 60 or smaller pattern using only those 4 colors of floss. And I went a little crazy and bought like 5 or 6 of them. And I decided the first one I was going to start is Happy Fall, y'all. If you've noticed, even though I live in Ohio, y'all is a common phrase in my vocabulary. And that comes from the 6 years of my life I spent in my formative years living in Arkansas and Alabama. I do not have a Southern accent, but I learned the usefulness of y'all, and it has stuck in my vocabulary, even though I have not, even though I've lived in Ohio for the last, 20 plus years. But, so when I saw this pattern, I had to get it. So on October 1st, I did start this. I didn't get super far, but I've got the all done. I have a backing board. I should use it. Let me move my little needle minder out of the way a little bit. So here's where I'm at with that. So I've got the all and part of the F for fall. I'm really enjoying stitching with this floss, and this is I only spent just one afternoon, like an hour or so, stitching on this one. So, but love it. This is being stitched on the Fabric of the Month from Bestitch Me for this month, for October. I guess September actually was the September Fabric of the Month, which was Sand Dollar. I get the 32 count Lugana. Then on October 4th, those of you who watch will know what I'm about to pull out, is the 4th of the month. I'm stitching on Firework Kisses. I started this on July 3rd and stitched on it July 3rd and 4th. And have just been stitching on it the 4th of each month since then until I finish it. I did not, I needed to work on a different pattern most of the day, so I didn't do a whole lot on this. I finished the Fireworks, so this taller Firework wasn't done. It still needed like its last 2 or 3 rows, and I added the wicks to each of them, and then I got the SES of Kisses done. And then I was like, okay, I got to move on to my other pattern. But so that is what I got done on Firework Kisses in October. So it goes on vacation until November 4th now. But it's such a fun, easy little stitch. I enjoy getting it out because it's a nice break from things. And then on October 3rd, I showed, it must have been my last video, maybe the one before that, but I think it was my last video, the Haunted Mansion Mystery Stitch Along box from Abbie Sue Designs that I mentioned I had purchased as a birthday gift for my daughter because Haunted Mansion is her favorite Disney ride. She has a Ghost Host hat and a Haunted Mansion shirt and playing cards, and I don't even know what else. She loves Haunted Mansion. She has Haunted Mansion Mickey Mouse ears. She loves Haunted Mansion. And that pattern started on October 3rd. So, and since it is my daughter's birthday gift, I am determined to keep up with it because the sal doesn't actually finish until after her birthday, but I want to keep up with it so that I can give it to her on her birthday, mostly done. The last piece of the pattern drops on the 24th. My daughter's birthday is on the 20th. And so on October 3rd, the first part of the pattern dropped. And it's the frame, but And then the next piece drops tomorrow, so I am trying my best. Oh, I don't think my daughter watches my Flosstube, but Mia, if you're watching, stop watching. Go do something else. But the I sort of had that thought, like, oh gosh, she does follow my Instagram, but I don't think she watches my Flosstube. I don't think she's that interested. But the frame dropped, and it's just sort of, so this has been consuming the bulk of my time because I want to have it done. I want to stay current with it. So this is the top part of the frame. So I have been stitching on this literally almost every single day since Monday when it dropped. But so I'm hopeful I'll have the time to finish this today since the next piece drops tomorrow. And I don't know what it is, except I think it's just the 3 primary ghosts, right? The 3 ghost hosts. I'm assuming somewhere in the middle. So I just have the rest of the frame, and there's kind of like a little scroll at the bottom that I'm guessing maybe it will say like "Welcome Foolish Mortals" or something like that. It came with this little needle minder that says "Welcome Foolish Mortals." And this is just on some sort of mystery printed Aida, which, guys, I'd forgotten how like nice it is to like take a break and stitch on Aida sometimes. It's been a while since I've stitched on Aida. But Peace, Love, and a Cure was on Aida, and I hadn't picked it up in a while. This obviously is on Aida, and it's a nice break. So this is about 5 days of stitching on this. This was certainly the most detailed, intricate part. I love the little hidden Mickeys of this frame. The rest of it's just making sure I don't get off on my counting because it's just straight lines for a long, long time. So that is my daughter's birthday gift that I am, like I said, hell-bent and determined to stay up with so that I can finish it on time and she doesn't have to wait too long to get her big birthday gift from me. I mean, her parties are really her birthday gift from me. But something tangible that you can put in her room. So when I started on that, then I thought, gosh, I had forgotten how nice it is to stitch on Aida. And so I decided to get back out another sort of Halloween pattern that I haven't touched in ages. And that is Haunted Fur by Kit and Bixby. There we go, try and get the glare off it. And I am stitching this on an Aida that was hand dyed by someone that I'm in a cross stitch chat with. And this is where I am at now. Isn't this fabric so cool? I love it. When I first got it, I was like, what am I going to stitch on this? And I was a little nervous about this because I was a little concerned that these pumpkins wouldn't show up, but I think they do. I think they look pretty cool. And so it's been ages since I've shown this pattern, like I think since June or July maybe. But I finished up this pumpkin. I did a little bit more of this cat here. I only spent one night, maybe about an hour to an hour and a half stitching, so I didn't get a whole lot done. But that is Haunted Fur. And I probably won't pick it up again for a little while, so pardon me while I take it out of the hoop because it's probably going to go back on vacation for a little while because Haunted Mansion's going to keep me busy. And that is it in terms of my whips. I do have 1.5 new starts, and the half is because I need your guys' help in deciding what to do. And I'm going to go into a little bit of storytelling mode right now too. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my video, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I am going to be doing an Instagram post later, but I just want to say, since probably 98% of my viewership is female, and many of us are of that certain age. So abbreviated version of my breast cancer story. And if you're not interested, that's okay. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for spending this time with me, or you can skip ahead a few minutes if you want to see my new start, and my little bit of haul. But, I was actually a month or so prior to my 40th birthday, which is usually when women start being asked to start screening for breast cancer. I was roughhousing, horsing around with my kids, and felt something hard in my right breast. And I'd been horse playing and roughhousing with my kids. I thought maybe I had just kind of gotten a contusion or something. And so I just kind of watched it for a few days, monitored it to see if it would just go away. And not only did it not go away, but then I felt a second one and was like, oh, hell no. So long story short, ended up being diagnosed with breast cancer and went through chemotherapy. Fortunately, did not have to do radiation, but then had a mastectomy and went through 4 different, one reconstruction surgery and then 2 or 3 what they call sort of symmetry follow-up procedures to get the girls that I have today. And it was quite a journey. And today, October 9th, 2022, is the 5-year anniversary of my bell ring day. And if you are blessed enough to not have had anyone in your life touched by cancer and you don't know what a bell ring day is, most treatment centers, perhaps all, but I know the 2 primary health systems in my area both do this when a chemotherapy patient finishes their chemotherapy. There's a big bell somewhere, usually like at my treatment center, there was a big canvas painting that I got to sign my name to and write a message on and the date. And you get to ring a big bell, and doctors, nurses, like care team people come out and cheer and applaud. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. It's just a big day because chemotherapy is really hard. I was diagnosed at the end of September 2016 with my cancer, September 28th, and started treatment like a week later. Went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy, finished that in January. But one of my drugs was actually an immunotherapy drug that I had to take for a whole year. And so even though the chemotherapy was over, right, the immunotherapy didn't leave me feeling tired or crappy like the chemo did. It was still, every 6 weeks, I still had to go to the infusion center. I still had to sit in the chair, though not for half a day like I had to with my chemo, just for an hour or 2. And then I was done. But I decided I was going to make my bell ring day be the day that I was done with my immunotherapy, which was October 9th, 2017. So in honor of that day, I decided to start a pattern that I've had for a while and just hadn't started. But I wanted to share my story because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I was young. My very first appointment with my oncologist, who I would follow to the ends of the earth. I absolutely love this man. But, the very first words, as my doctor was entering the room, he was coming in the room and saying, so too young, too young, too young. Like, we're seeing so many patients who are so young, coming in. And I had no family history of breast cancer that we know of. Because I was so young, they did genetic testing on me, and there were 0 markers or indicators for elevated risk of breast cancer. So I truly am one of those cases where they don't have any clue why I got it. And so I want to share this story just because, ladies, we got to take care of ourselves, right? We're always so busy taking care of others, right? Whether it's family, friends, pets, work, take care of ourselves. And just, that's my little plug. So if you are overdue for your mammogram, please pause this video, just reach out and schedule it now. Yes, it's uncomfortable for like 10 seconds and then you're done. And it's so effective. And the treatments out there are so amazing now. And I'm strong and healthy again, and hopefully will be forevermore now. But just get those girls checked. All right. That's my PSA. That's a little bit about my story. But in honor, in recognition of my 5-year anniversary of my bell ring day, I started this morning this pattern by Hinzeit, however they pronounce themselves, called Hope Angel. That, like I said, I've owned for years and decided today was the day to start. It just felt right. So again, just started it this morning on a piece of just kind of rose pink Aida that I had laying around. I actually had picked the fabric out for this pattern probably over a year ago. It was in the pattern with it. And just a tiny little start. So that I started kind of the white in the center of her dress. And then the pink outline going down the one side. And I don't know how often I will stitch on this because obviously the Haunted Mansion is going to be taking up most of my time. But I realized today was the 5th anniversary. It felt significant and I wanted to commemorate it in some way. And so this was the way I chose. So yeah, thank you for listening to my story. Please, 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 please do all your health screenings. I know they're not always fun, but they're necessary because we want all of you here as long as possible. And if you can do something super simple to help ensure that that happens, then you should do it, right? All right, I'm done preaching. So that was my one new start. My half new start is I saw on Instagram, Hands On Design re-released a pattern that had been in Just Cross Stitch magazine back in 2015. And it's this, Octobers. I'm so glad that I live in a world where there are Octobers. Love this quote. Love Anna Green Gables. So I saw this on Instagram and like it was in my shopping cart and purchased and downloaded onto my computer within like 2 minutes flat. And I want to start it, even though I really have no business starting another start, but it's October and it's about October and it cannot be stitched in any month other than October. It just doesn't make sense, right? So I picked out the fabric for it. I picked out a floss for it because I'm just kind of pulling from stash. So I picked out this Weeks Dye Works Tatanka, which is a deep brown. And I just have sort of a random mystery linen here in my house. But then I got thinking, I bet that would look really cool stitched in one of the colors from the Autumn Garden palette from Cottage Garden Threads. And so now I'm like all about, I should pick one of these colors to stitch this, right? Even though it's not part of the Autumn Garden or the Cross Stitch the Rainbow challenge, or not challenge, I guess, but stitch along. I kind of really want to pick one of these to do the words in. So, and I'm going to put a poll up on Instagram too, once I have my daughter teach me how to do that, because I don't know how to do it. I could probably figure it out, but I like to make my daughter feel like she's like her mom's cool. But like none of these are the deep brown that the model was stitched in, but I really feel like it would be really fun to stitch the words, right? I'll still stitch the acorn caps in the Tatanka, but like, I really feel like it would be pretty to stitch the words in one of those colors. So this is Terracotta. Can you tell I'm getting ready to ask for your vote? So this is Terracotta. Here's the Tatanka from Weeks Dye Works, right? It's just a deep, rich brown, like deep, dark, deep chocolate brown. The other, and then this is Dandelion from Weeks Dye Works. I think this one might be a little too light where it gets lighter. But that's, so Terracotta and Dandelion. And then the other one that I think might be too variegated, but I'm not sure, right, is this one's, what is Golden Gully, right? And it goes from a red to a green to a yellow. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Please tell me in the comments. Should I just stick with the solid brown or should I go with one of these 3 Cottage Garden thread colors from the Autumn Garden sampler stitch along, right? So Terracotta, Dandelion, or Golden Gully. And I'll put them up against the fabric again. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments. Inquiring minds want to know. And as a reminder, here's the pattern. So what do you think? Let me know. Because I really want to start this. And I was all set to start it with my Tatanka, and then I just sort of had this little voice in my head go, what about your Autumn Garden sampler threads? I was like, ooh, what about those? Decisions, right? All right. So I'm at about 30 minutes. the last thing I have to show is just a tiny little bit of haul. So I am always like a year late to like all the best shows, all the best books, things like that. I know many of you have been Yellowstone fans since day one. It had been on my watch list for forever, but I had never actually started watching it until recently, and then I totally binged it. Love it. And Forbidden Fiber Company re-released their Yellowstone project bag, the needle minders, and rip pattern about the sharks and the minnows, right? That you ain't no shark. I didn't get the pattern, even though I love the quote. I know I won't stitch it, so I didn't get the pattern, but I did get the project bag, which I love. And I love that the little dangle has the little cowboy hat. It's so cute. So I did get the project bag and the needle minders, which, holy crap, these needle minders are huge. So I got the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch brand logo of the ranch, and still had to get Rip, of course, right? Don't make me send Rip. Love Rip. He is my favorite character on the show by far, which is kind of funny because Beth is, I don't want to say least favorite, but probably least favorite. I don't know. There's just, I like her, and then I hate her, and then I like her again, and then I hate her again. Hate's a strong word. I like her, and then I don't like her, which is probably intended, right? Kind of the same with Jamie. Like, although Jamie, I felt sorry for him at first, but now I'm like, dude, you're a grown man. I don't know that I feel sorry for you anymore. Anyway, this is Flosstube. This is not television review, but I am looking forward to when the new season starts in November. So I did get those needle minders, and that is it. I was thinking about maybe sharing. I've noticed a lot of us who stitch a lot also read a lot, and some of my favorite Flosstubers also share a little bit about the books they've been reading. I've thought about adding that. I won't add it today because this video has already gone longer than usual, but if you'd be interested in that, let me know in the comments, and I can certainly share. Lately, I've been doing more audiobooks than actual books, but I'm happy to share that too. So let me know if that would be of interest to you. That is all I have for you today, folks. As always, thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. I'm so grateful to have this community that exists and that I am part of. For those of you who are getting into StitchCon Weekend B, I will see you there. My mom and I are going together, and I'm so excited to get to share that with her. Hi, Mom. I know you watch my videos. So, but when I was growing up, she always used to go to a huge craft fair in Hot Springs, Arkansas, called War Eagle, and she would go with all of her Air Force friends, as I called them, right? The wives of people we were stationed with at the various Air Force bases. When we lived in Arkansas, it was just some great friends she made there. And they would go, while we lived there, they went to Arkansas. And then when we all kind of moved different places, that was once a year, they would all meet up there. For a whole bunch of years, they did it. And then it kind of morphed into, let's go to this person's house and we'll quilt for a few days. And then it sort of hasn't happened for a few years, in part because of COVID, in part because just other reasons. But I always wanted to go, and it just never worked out, the timing wise, for me to be able to go with her. So I'm really excited that we're going to get to have this time together at StitchCon. It's not exactly the same, but we'll get to share that time together, and I'm really excited for it. Yay, Mommy. Looking forward to it. So if you're going to be at Weekend B, drop a note in the comments. Let me know. I will be sure to find you and get to meet in person, and it'll be awesome. So, all right, now for real, I'm done talking, in part because I'm thirsty. I need to go get something to drink. So you go get something to drink too. As always, you know what I always say at the end of all my videos: take care of yourselves, take care of each other, hug your loved ones. Have a great couple of weeks. Happy stitching. And I'll look forward to talking to all of y'all soon. So in your comments, let me know your thoughts on the floss. Let me know if you'd like to hear about books that I'm reading. Let me know anything else you want to know. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.